shot calling, since he hasn't been doing it again for the team that long, if he can keep up with the strategical genius that is ADRD and the rest of Expert.
It might be a true clash of the minds here, Dread.
It very much will be. And I think if Gale Force eSports is going to have a good shot, it's that guy you just saw on screen here. And you know, and this one too, both are very standout players, K1 Pro and Fan. I feel like, you know, if we come back and you were to say Gale Force eSports somehow won the Western Clash, what were the players that outperformed themselves? I feel like it very much will be these two. The teamwork that they have together, their lethality is just outstanding when looking at the North American scene.
I mean, every time we see Fan actually on the stage now, it feels like he's almost become the archivist of Gale Force eSports. Just notes upon notes, just realizing that they've put in a lot of groundwork when it comes to going up against these teams.
We talked about it yesterday when I asked him in the interviews if he feels he took something away from being on the other side, being a caster, an analyst for once.
Yeah.
He said that just observing and trying to find mistakes and holes in all of the plays that we have seen at the mid-season brawl, that it helped him a lot, and he's trying to bring that to the table now for Gale Force to help them with these drafts. So it plays a huge party, and he's definitely the mind behind a lot of their picks.
All right, well, it's time. Game at #1 here in this best of 5. It's North America going up against Europe. It's Gale Force going up against Team Expert.
An Oriole band! Yes!
He got so mad yesterday how Oriole and Lunara just destroyed one NA team after another. So for you, that's probably like the highlight of the day so far.
Yeah,
right?
I can walk home happy now.
Drops the mic,
just go back. You guys got
boys,
this, right?
I'm done.
Bye, Gilly. Bye. Stitch is coming in.
I do share the exact same sentiment, though.
Yeah.
Not only just for, like, you know, because you talked about how the meta in the tournament meta itself, NA actually, after the midseason brawl, NA and EU's metas were actually near similar-ish. You know, they had their own tone and flavor. A couple of patches come in, and suddenly a huge split through them all. And North America came into this tournament essentially claiming, we found the better resolution when those patches came into play. It's pretty apparent after the results yesterday that's not the case. So if Gale Force did not show that kind of respect immediately, I would automatically have a lot less faith in them for this series.
Very quick Tassadar coming in for Gale Force. But one thing that's... Oh, Medivh. All right, Expert.
Okay.
One thing that's interesting is that Team Expert used to be the team in Europe that always let Tassadar through and said we could deal with it, which is...
That's absolutely right. But just to jump ahead a little bit, I am so hyped to see Medivh, because when we were watching European matches in HGC Europe, Medivh always gets banned out against Expert, and ADRD complained so bitterly about never being able to play the hero. So now seeing the early Medivh pick here makes me so happy. So this is going to be good.
Back on the Tassadar, Tassadar won 1 game out of 7 yesterday. Europe did not touch him. So my feeling was North America needed to adapt or find the counter, and I hope for Gale Force's sake that the Ariel ban and then into Tassadar is what it took. Tracer, Task Tracer on Tomb. We have heard from Gale Force that they do think that this is strong here.
Do you not think that this is a little bit one-dimensional of their thought process, considering it's Tracer into Medivh, where we saw Force of Will completely shut down bombs over and over yesterday?
I mean, when Tracer came into play and Medivh was released shortly after, everybody's thought process was, I mean, that's a really nice way to cancel a hero who has its heroic pre-10. Like, that's, it was the direct counter for a long while. So I completely share the same sentiment, and along with what Along had to say yesterday, the Tassadar Dahaka conundrum. Once again, North America has found themselves in this dynamic. So it's does Gale Force have a master plan?
Then again, I can tell you already that, for example, Expert, as a team that plays a lot of Medivh, really respects Tracer also in this setup. They, for example, told me straight out that in their opinion, when Tracer was played by Nomia against NA, the Tracer team, in their opinion, should have won the series because of what Tracer offers. So while Medivh definitely is a really strong counter against her, they feel that you still need to respect her enough in the setup so that if Tracer has played well, that the impact is huge and Medivh can't just simply negate all of it.
You're right. There's the potential that the Tracer, if it's a very good Tracer, can just wait for the Force of Will and then try and exploit in that window.
Yeah, they can try to bait it with something like a Dahaka drag or something else, depending on what the last 2 picks are for Gale Force. But it still is the problem that they're going to be double support, double warrior, Tracer, unless something fishy is up here.
It's also a statement, though. It's Gale Force picks this into the Medivh, so they say right away, we don't care that you have Medivh, we are better, and we can definitely show you how it's done here. So I like that about them. And with the ban on Sonya, we also see Gale Force really doing their homework. They know that Expert and Thero in particular really love to play Sonya on that bot lane there as well. Against Tracer, you also have a huge amount of damage that you can burst out with a Poison Spear. So they really make sure that Tracer has as much safety as possible.
A lot of limiting factors going towards Athero there, with Sonya being banned, Dahaka already being taken over on the other side.
Malthael.
Malthael.
Yeah, definitely. Good. I mean, it doesn't have to pick him. They have a few more. But on this map, we have seen them with a lot of Malthael picks. Thero has played the hero quite a bit, so they could make that play.
Stukov.
My goodness.
Diablo Stukov.
This comp is actually terrifying the more I'm watching it unfold.
I mean, it's not like Gale Force is foreign to the Medivh Diablo on Team of the Spider Queen, but they're already draft committed so much into one direction. I don't think with the remainder 2 picks I can see them directly recovering, because teams like MVP Black essentially called out Roll20 at the midseason brawl, let them draft it thoroughly, and then due to their heavy assassin and survivability picks that they had, for instance, a Tychus, they endured the storm and completely turned around the fight. And I just don't feel like with 2 picks and already a tasked Tracer that this is recoverable for GFE.
Where does GFE go? What do you think, guys?
I don't want a main tank. I want something wild. Like, at this point, you have to get radical. Whether or not you think it's your best odds of winning, or I personally feel it'll be the best just because there is so much Wombo CC.
I think we'll still see Brightwing probably from Akaface trying to deal with the Medivh polymorphs. No, it's going to get Rhaegar, then Joe. Or Wave Clear.
This is looking problematic, guys.
It is.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. The setup for Expert is absolutely fantastic that they have already. Medivh and Stukov together is absolutely brutal, and of course the combo that we have with the Leyline Seal into the Apocalypse is fantastic. When it comes to the solo laner on the bot lane, we still look for a hero for Thero, of course. So Malthael is very much still on the table. It's definitely a hero that he could take here. Also has the winning matchup into the Haka. Lacks, of course, mobility if he gets attacked,
Any other thoughts other than a Malthael?
The setup for the Malthael, I mean, I really feel like you can almost do anything at this point, right? I think that's the biggest problem here for Expert. At this point, I just feel like the safest decision is going to be the best decision. Not showing anything to your opponents, but they do. The Thrall. More Wombo to the combo.
You have a face like you knew this was happening, sir.
He actually did. He wrote it down and showed me after like 2 picks.
Sorry. They have a couple of things still up their sleeve that they haven't shown yet, and their statement when we talked about it was, we didn't feel the need to do that yet. So already giving a bit I mean, there's more to come from Expert as you would expect, but with Thrall, they already give a bit of a glimpse that, to be honest, I didn't expect for the first game. I really thought them play something that you already showed in the past, just keep it with a Malthael. So I'm pretty happy that they are already saying, let's poke a little bit and see what we can do with this.
Right, and for me, having sat back and played New Thrall a little bit, the way you can actually build him is sort of terrifying. He just kind of doesn't die in some situations. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. Do you have like confidence behind the Thrall? What do you think here, since it is the wildcard pick? I
mean, the rest of the picks were so strong by that point in the draft that it's like, I mean, I feel like they would have won it anyway just about, but the Thrall is pretty cool if they were bringing it in, especially when it's a last pick like that. They do feel like it is going to be the better matchup for that. He has a lot of his own self-sustain, which will help just in case anything else. The Medivh might not be there, and yeah, I'm feeling good about it.
All right, well, I'm getting word that we are ready to go to our commentary team here for this one. North America goes up against Europe. We have Thrall coming in for Team Expert to see if it can round things out in game number 1, going up against GFE.
Absolutely right there, Gale Force. Gale Force, Kalaris, that's exactly what it looks like to me. He is so meta in his meta right now.
You know, I do the opposite sometimes. I'll be playing my Hero League games and I'll be like, let's get the Kalaris. I'm like, oh no, it's Gale Force.
You know what tilted me is I didn't see my face on the screen, so I'm thinking, hang on a minute, I've lost my train of thought.
Yeah, suddenly you see like Heroes of the Storm and you're thinking of heroes instead of Kalaris, who's kind of my hero. But yeah, there you go.
What I was going to say is Expert coming out the gates really blazing here with a draft that has the likes of Stukov. We've always seen Medivh and Diablo from them before, but on the likes of Thrall, to round it all out fully, Crazy.
Cool, isn't it? A kind of pocket pick there. Presumably Ethereal Angel going to be on that Thrall. A newly reworked Thrall, now with more build diversity than we saw from him prior to his rework a month or two ago.
Right.
And so we don't really know what direction he's going to be going with that yet, but there is a lot of options. You can play more of a poke-heavy style, more of a in-your-face, and it'll be very nice to see what's coming out here.
What I'm curious to see is what ultimate choice primarily. Sundering was usually the go-to with the burst potential, with what they have already with the Apox setup. That will spring to mind for me, but let's jump into this one. It is EU versus NA, with Expert on the left in the blue. Kirsten playing at Stukov, Nick on Greymane, Bad Benny on Diablo, ADRD on Medivh, and wow, if they're on Thrall.
And here on the right side in the red, K1 Pro on Tastadar, we've got Fan on Tracer, King Caffeine on Johanna, we've got Akaface on Rhaegar, and Mike Udal on the Haka. It's Gale Force eSports.
Much the same as what we saw yesterday when Nomia took on Team Freedom on the exact same battleground with very similar drafts. Looking to see how Fan plays this one, and to some lesser degree, I suppose, Michael Udal, how he decides to try and deny the Medivh Force of Will.
And, you know, Gale Force eSports is starting there with the Drag Tongue on Diablo, but the Force of Will keep Bad Bunny in good shape. Doesn't have his full set of souls yet. Diablo missing much of his survivability, as he would come around level 7 or 8 or so. When he gets those souls, gives him bonus health pool and regeneration. But, you know, Gale Force eSports, their drafting strategy is clear. They left 0 nuance for the final 2 picks. None of the key plays will be coming out of Rhaegar or Johanna. And it's going to be all about that Tassadar Tracer that Gale Force just wanted to lock in double fast. So the burden here is entirely on Fan. Tassadar, he just put shields on Fan over and over, and Fan will be the man to watch here for Gale Force.
Yeah, so much on Fan's shoulders here to try and accelerate this game, almost carry this game single-handedly. But if we flip it on the end of Expert and see what they have, I mean, they have a lot of tools at their disposal. The potential for the big wombo combo come level 10. You've got the Diablo Apoc to follow up the Leyline Seal. The Lurking Arm on top of all things considered. That is a lot of potential, a lot of CC, and that can make for some very flashy events now, Grubby.
Johanna's positioning will be important to disrupt some of that wombo combo potential. Kirsten in particular will be interruptible by Johanna if she uses a clever Iron Skin combination with Condemn. So Johanna may have to go pretty deep to disrupt that. But yeah, Leyline Seal into Apocalypse, into a Lurking Arm is pretty darn painful, and Team Expert is going to try and leverage that combo. And at the beginning of this, Skimmy, you asked Thrall, Earthquake or Sundering. Both are very good heroics here on Thrall. Generally, Sundering, of course, will be used to punish squishies, to stun them, kind of try to one-shot them together with the burst build, whereas Earthquake is great against heroes that are very movement speed reliant. Tracer, Johanna, not that much. They can ignore it kind of with Blinks and with Iron Skin, so I do expect we'll be seeing some Sundering for that one-shot.
The Sundering has that impact. It looks flashy and it does work, but Expert, they are slowing it. Sustain amongst all lanes. Stukov, arguably a better version of Malfurion. You've got the Lightning build coming up from Thrall here. Should be able to really hold his own in that lane against Dahaka.
Yeah, Echo of the Elements gives him 2 charges of Chain Lightning. Then we get the Mana Tide totem. So just think about that. Mana Tide gives him extra mana. Chain Lightning is cheaper with that level 1 quest. Mana Tide gives you cooldown reduction every time you proc your Frostwall of Resilience. Double Chain Lightning does the most amount of Frostwall of Resilience stack. So Thrall is going to have amazing cooldown reduction. He's gonna have a lot of spells, and it kind of makes me think we're going into Ancestral Wrath at level 7. His version of Blood for Blood. It's a 15% lifesteal of the opponent's max health. So when you cast that on a warrior, Thrall gets that lifesteal, and to him that's worth even more than on a warrior. So it helps Thrall to stay alive and to burst down warriors, or basically anyone, depending on who he casts it on.
It's like an early giant killer, but on steroids, which can just give you so much impact. But one thing I'm really liking about Gale Force so far, what we saw Nomia really struggle in the early game was they didn't get the hand and they couldn't actually accelerate their potential, but they're looking for the first blood. They are looking to try and take out Fan, but the denial is there, the portal to get them out of harm's way. No first blood still, 4 minutes in.
Yeah, Fan fell into that trap where you stay around a certain area for a while and then suddenly you need your recall. If you have been there, it takes you back 3 seconds in time. The recall places you in the same point of danger, but luckily for him, Tassadar was there, K1 Pro saving him, and he was able to life leech off of Diablo back up to half of his life. But that was a scary moment here. You get the Web Weaver turn-in, and if you lose even one hero, it nearly completely invalidates that turn-in.
Have to see how Gale Force decide to set this one up. They are looking to obviously execute with the Tracer primarily. They're looking to try and split Team Expert apart, make sure that that Force of Will can't find as much value as it would like to find otherwise, but Kirsten sitting from afar. He's got the lurking arm looking to try and deny the potential for them to push in from that gate. And these Web Weavers, although they've given a slight XP lead, not as much as we've come to grow used to.
Yeah, I mean, normally you'd like to get 6 towers, maybe a little bit of fort damage here or there. And if we just kind of look at what's happened, top towers have been taken out, mid towers, bottom towers, and almost a sprinkling of damage, not quite on the fort. So not a bad result by any means. But because Gale Force didn't get any takedowns, it will remain at just about that. But the cool thing is when you take those towers down, every time you push a minion wave, it will start depleting fort HP rather than just clashing against the gate. So wave pressure can become significant, and that's the point of the game here for Gale Force eSports. Double warrior, double support, very good at wave clear. Look at that Johanna build. A complete first time ever at pro play. Yeah. Righteous Smash at level 1. Using Punish restores 10 mana per enemy hit. If you use that after Condemn, you can actually gain mana from using your Q ability as Johanna. And that just shows that Gale Force is 100% about the map control, and they've done well with that so far.
Yeah, I mean, it loops back into that original point we had about the sustaining element, especially in the ball of the court for Expert, and that's exactly what Gale Force are trying to, in some way, I suppose, emulate. But what I'm starting to get a little bit concerned about is a hand-in is looming for Expert. They got 33 out of the 50 required. 10 is on the horizon, and as we discussed, that is a very scary power pick.
Yeah, and you know, Gale Force is not quite there yet with the gem count. They still need 16 gems, so they need to play defense for the next minute. They need to get their level 10, and they need to deny that turn-in. And now Expert looks like they're conglomerating around the bottom paying station. Will this be stopped by Gale Force? Can they get the interrupt? So far it looks like yes. This is a very tense moment in the game here, Skimmy.
Yeah, they commit a few resources to the bot lane, looking to take out Udal before level 10. Right now, Gale Force still with the win. He is going to go for the recall. Has the Brush Stalker available to get himself back into the mix of things, but 10 is so close now. Still 7 minutes into this game, no first blood. But I can tell you that's all going to change when ultimates are online.
Yeah, Quantum Spike is going to be available in a 1 second. Fan will be looking for that kill, trying to circumvent the conundrum of dealing with Force of Will from Medivh. But I like that Expert is playing it slowly. They know their advantage is not yet in their level 7, in their level 9, their 1 to 9 period. They need their heroics to be truly effective. That's where we get a potential of Earthquake or Sundering, as it looks like, Apocalypse and so on. But Gale Force is playing a phenomenal macro game. They have really good control. They have the gems. No, they still need 2 gems. 53 have they turned in. And this is where it turns around. Leyline Seal, we have Flailing Swipe, Sundering, Apocalypse, Cursed Bullet. Expert is ready. They're online.
This is everything we said it would be. Blue Web Weavers are descending. They're going to be escorted in here by Expert, which have all the tools available at their disposal. I am getting excited. I can feel the tension, given there have been no kills, but Expert have been leading up to this one point. They've got the Mercenaries in the mid lane looking to try and push on through. They are hungry for blood.
Yeah, and I have no idea what to expect from this series. Expert relatively untested at LAN as the unit that they are right now. Gale Force eSports, they are the furthest so far in the tournament as the North American team. And here is a big move.
On the
Haka, the silence.
They're looking for Michael Udal. They do have the weighted pustule available, and the biokill switch was decidedly not used. The essence, however, has been consumed as the adaptation comes out as well. Michael Udal burning a lot of resources in that top lane as the rotation now comes across from Gale Force, responding to this top lane push as Bad Benny jumps on in.
Yeah, Bad Benny misses his stun against the wall. That's what he would have liked. Now his engage has been foiled. Quantum Spike misses as the portal cleverly allows Expert to disengage. A lot of move-ins, still trying to find their groove, both teams, and none of the attacks are successful yet in this 4 versus 4.
Gale Force are going to struggle when it comes to siege defense. The amount of sustain we discussed from Expert is really starting to shine here. The healing pathogen bouncing around doing all kinds of work right now, but as soon as Bad Benny's in trouble, he's got the support. ADRD's got the portal, and they're out of there.
And Johanna was forced to clear mid. King Caffeine came to the middle. Maybe he has to help his team, want to do a bit of clear. Thrall had the solo push. Here comes the leyline seal. Apocalypse, follow up!
This is the dirty combo. There goes the APOC looking for it, but they can't get the lurking arm for the follow. They can't find the kill. Still no first blood as we're about to reach the 10-minute mark. Fan has the shield available on him. But the climax is going to break away.
Gale Force eSports already plays a lot better than they did yesterday against Nomia. Although they won that game, I felt they looked weak in fights. Today, they are so much stronger against Expert. They are holding their own, controlling the map, and finally getting those final 2 gems turn in. And now it's time for Gale Force eSports to get that turn in. But the question is, how well can they use it, Skimmy?
100%. I mean, we saw what they did with the very first set of Web Weavers, and they didn't find much of an advantage.
And the level, they don't have their level 13 talent yet.
Yeah, they are down, and this is really going to hurt them right now because they're going to be playing it patiently, looking for that advantage, and well, that advantage is never going to come around because they're looking for Fan, and there goes first blood onto Tracer. They played it so patiently. 10 minutes comes around, and the kill's there.
Perfect. Lurking arm there by Curson, knowing the direction in which Tracer will want to be escaping after the stun hits. She cannot use her blink, and now the move on Aka phase. Rhaegar will be foiled for now, and he gets away.
He does get away indeed. Essence once again consumed on Dahaka. And you're going to sense a little bit of indecisiveness, but a bit of passive-aggressive, where this does look attractive, but then, no, we're controlled, we're calm, we're collected. Let's decide if this really is the option, and in that case, it wasn't.
Yeah, they try to get Rhaegar, they will not get the complete follow-up yet. And anytime you have Web Weavers pushing against you, you have about 3 to 5 seconds to make a kill. If it doesn't work, run. And Expert shows a good discipline here. They go back to the wave clear, they save every fort. And the forts are left at 80, 50 and 40% HP respectively. Not the result you want from a 10-minute Web Weaver turn-in.
They were looking for Kirsten. There would have been an attractive pick, to say the least, to allow Gale Force to find some momentum back on their side. Suddenly now, a level down, and if we look at the gem count, Expert have been hoarding gems quite consistently. They need 55 for the next set. They currently have 102 in the bank.
Yeah, they can have 2 consecutive turn-ins if they play their cards right, or their gems right, as I should say. Meantime, ADRD on Medivh, scouting out every movement here from Gale Force. Vision control, very important this game. K1 Pro has his Oracle, and so they see where everyone is. Udal gets away once again. He's been playing a solid brand of the Haka, very safe. Ethereal Angel paying 31 gems, and he gets it. Nice zoning lurking arm.
Absolutely, the curse bullet was used, but is on such a short cooldown, up in 15 seconds once again. The banner is down, the Web Weavers are out, and still, Team Expert with the 1-level lead leading into this.
Quantum Spike has yet to connect for Tracer on a target that does not get protected by Force of Will. Bad Benny with the move in. Of course, he's just stacking his level 13 quest. He has 2 charges now. It's not a failed engage. He just wanted to get that stun. Every time he completes that stun against the wall, he gets another 2% max health damage on the target. He's at 2 out of 5. And once he gets that, he can do a 15% damage chunk against someone. There's the 3rd one.
Damage chunk it is, so they come across. Iron Skin is going to be used, giving them a little bit of breathing room as Arca Face stabilizes. But Team Expert right now, it seems to be, they are the ones playing proactive, they are the ones with the strategy, and they are playing their style of game.
Yeah, the levels of disengage that Expert has here are pretty impressive. We've got Flailing Swipe, Leyline Seal, Apocalypse, Sundering, Portal, Force of Will. It's going to be hard to find a hole in the armor here of Team Expert by Gale Force eSports, but it looks like this might be the kind of game where they could do it. They've been playing safe, they've been playing patiently, Leyline misses.
The sidestep is there, the Brush Stalker is trying to be used, but it can't come across. Adaptation is there looking for it, but the turnaround with the APOC is going to be huge, but is it not? Nothing is hit, nothing is connected. The Sundering does come across as well.
ADRD goes
down. And Medivh does go down, the Flating Swipe is there, as it looks to be Expert fully retreating out of this.
Such a nice move by Gale Force eSports. They used it. Dahako nearly goes down to make the turnaround. They pressure Medivh.
They want more.
Gale Force eSports.
So calm, so collected, but suddenly explosive. They get 2 kills, they get a triple kill, and they are going for the boss now.
Immediate boss call after getting the triple takedown, even though Diablo comes back. What an amazing turnaround. Michael Udal, he drops at 20%, gets the drag tongue, pressure the Medivh. Tracer comes in from the left side, pressures him with the pulse bomb. He has to escape her, goes through the portal. Guess what? K1 Pro already casted a Psionic Storm on the other side. The isolation was complete, and from that moment onwards, Gale Force rode that momentum, get 2 more kills, get the boss, and now they have enough gems to pay. 81, they need only 60. They're going to get the double objective, and what a turnaround here. A talent down against Expert. So impressive.
And it really shows that the wombo combo from Expert tried to come across. It started with the leyline seal, did not connect. They sidestepped beautifully. The APOC almost as a bit of a panic coming across as well in the brush. The burrow was used from Michael Udall just to basically say, what a wasted cooldown. They get the turnaround, they get the triple kill, and suddenly Gale Force are feeling, we're back in this.
And what do you think, Skimmy? Leyline seal goes out, it misses, obviously feels terrible. What do you think? They still go in? Is that good? Or do you just say, ah, shucks, that's a very important one, immediate disengage with portal? It was possible, but you can understand the emotion there, right? We used a big cooldown heroic, it missed, but now we got to make something work. But I wonder if it was the right play.
Maybe initial jitters at the start. They want to try and find some value, extract it at any means possible. The crowd is getting amped up. I myself am as well. The game still 4 kills between them. You'd think far more would happen, but on a macro level specifically.
Gale Force eSports now with the talent lead. They haven't felt this since level 10. They are also leveling all the forts. They still have Web Weaver 50% here in the middle, and they're buying time for the bottom Web Weaver, which is also still very healthy, 60% health, rotating down there, getting the double towers.
Yeah, as the transition comes across, still a Pharaoh locked up in the top lane. If Gale Force clock onto this, they could force the fight. A 5v4 at that, the Force will comes across. It is not going to isolate any target. The call is made, and Gale Force are out of there.
Every single heroic is available. Every quest, almost every quest is complete. Stukov still needs his vigorous re-uptake. He's at 38 out of 50. That will give him 40% bonus healing on the bio kill switch, whereas the devastating charge for Diablo is at 4 out of 5 stacks. And he has domination at 16. That means he can do a bam, bam, bam into the wall, flip him, do it again, and that's pretty much a squishy down to nothing. If you can get that in one of those corridors.
It almost sounds a little bit like pro wrestling.
It is,
you jump in, you flip stuff, you make the flashy plays.
He's got the body for it, Diablo. He's got the aura.
You get called up for the next contract and you sign the paper, but looking at the level 16 on ADRD, he has reabsorption, going to do so much work specifically against that quantum spike.
Exactly. I mean, this is so good against telegraphed delayed spells, like against mages and against pulse bomb. And he is going to be using that. ADRD, one of the best Medivhs, completed his arcane mastery, the Master's Touch, without any problems at all. None of those funny moments. Oh my god, the quest got reset. This is ADRD. He played it safely, measuredly, and he's got what he wants. He now has a 1-second cooldown on that arcane charge.
Dance comes around once again as they are looking to try and find the option. Bad Benny across the wall saying hello. And that's all it is. He gets the Shadow Charge cooldown. Or apologies, the Shadow Charge quest completion.
15% max health now, plus the base damage, ×2 if he can get landed. Diablo now is an absolute powerhouse. The race to level 20 is on. Anything but a sedate game. Takedowns-wise, sure, but the amount of attempts that have been blocked by either team's defensive capabilities is definitely there, is high in number. 3 keeps versus 3. The tension is mounting. Everything could come down to the next team fight here.
This feels a little bit like a Braxis holdout game where they are just playing on the sustain element. You see the healing ward from Arcaface coming across, looking to top up every single member on that roster. And right now, Gale Force don't actually have enough gems. Even if they wanted to do a turn-in, they can't. And Team Expert know this, and they are the ones looking to press that advantage.
And that means that Team Expert can force an engagement here in this tight little pay station corridor. That's what they want. They're trying to use the Diablo angling with the portals, like we have seen before when Roll20 destroyed MVP Black at Mid-Season Brawl with this composition, Diablo Medivh, and they keep trying to find that angle. And the more times Gale Force eSports has to interrupt the pay here, and they are continuing to do so, the more opportunities that Expert gets. Once again, though, the turn-in has been cancelled.
Les Shield comes across very early on into this one, maybe a panic at that, but Michael Udall's saying hello, he's popped up, he's looking for the drag target, but there is no follow-up, and there comes the leyline seal, only going to hit one. The APOC is ready to lurking arm, but he denies it completely. He goes for the burrow, and he gets it at harm's way. The lurking arm is done, and the flailing swipe comes across as the portal is there. They get out, and they are not looking to stay around.
Michael Udall with the easy outplays there, using his low HP Dahaka as a bait. One-man leyline seal, and he dodges entirely. That's really where a lurking arm would have had to be paired with the Apocalypse. But be that as it may, there was 2 extremely high cooldown heroics in Leyline Seal, Sundering actually, and Apocalypse, all used on a single Dahaka. And Gale Force got a lot of value out of that. They're now at level 20 versus 19.9, and they're looking to do some more damage here.
The smallest window of execution potentially for Gale Force eSports here as they try and try again, but they cannot seem to find it. Members low across the board in terms of health and mana. And Bad Benny definitely knows that looking for the Shadow Charge, but does not want to commit. And it seems to be, Grubby, that what we've been seeing from this team, especially from the likes of Diablo and even the Medivh, is they wait for the Wombo. They want to play off that Wombo. If they don't get it, they don't seem to win.
Yeah, and that's kind of a problem for them. They have these long apart, far and away power spikes, these moments where they need to fight. And for Gale Sports eSports, it's the exact opposite. Sure, the heroics matters as well. The adaptation for the Haka, I think, has been key in many of these engagements, but they can fight all the time the Tracer task. It's interesting though. Gale Force eSports pressured and pushed Expert away. They burned the heroics. They finally collected enough gems themselves. But it's Expert that finally pays, because Johanna dropped low and Gale Force was loath to risk too much with low mana and health pools. Now Expert on the offensive with the triple Web Weaver. Michael Uda already removing the top Web Weaver, removing some of that staggered threat. And the bottom Web Weaver is very far away, so this looks like it could be an easy defense. But everything will come down to whether Expert dares to move in hard here.
They have all the tools ready to use. Cooldowns are up as they push on in, exposing that keep, making it naked, ready to undress and ready to play. Bad Benny once again not thinking this is the chance for it. He gets Forceward off, not once, but twice.
Forceward on a 3-second cooldown with 50% bonus range. That's tested our level 20's choice. Force Barrier, and that's pretty tough for Diablo.
This game has all been about macro. The kill count still only 4. So passive. So passive against what we can see is now a Gale Force eSports squad that are looking hungry. They're getting angry almost, thinking we need to try and force something soon. Tracer hasn't really had any real particular moment during this game to actually pop off.
Yeah, not one of those crazy, easy kills in the backline because Expert's defenses have been too good. But it also speaks to Fan's tenacity or his patience, his safe play here, that he hasn't let the fact that he is on the star role grow to his head in this game. That's what they need from him anyway, from Tracer, to bide the time until the long heroics are used.
Tahaka really well there, utilizing the global factor, sneaks in the hand, and then Bad Benny goes, well, it's my time to shine. He jumps on in. The root from Ephero connects as well. The force will is even better. This is looking like it. The reabsorption is going to heal them all up as the quantum spike comes across.
They can't get away from
swipe in the back line. Lay down seal onto 2 people.
And the Hellgate is used. Bad Benny trying to get away with just a sliver of his life. The Porto is going to do just that. But Speed Car Dahaka is in hot pursuit. Curson, will the drag tongue on Curson hit?
It is going to hit him. He's in a lot of trouble. But the portal once again is there. ADRD gets back into the bird form, and Team Expert are out of there.
Gale Force in hot pursuit. They've got the turn in. Force barrier every 3 seconds, Sundering to disengage. This game is crazy. So many means of chase here by Gale Force eSports. The force barrier, their speed, their mobility, but Expert with portal after portal, get away.
This game is almost like going down to the beach and not only witnessing paint dry when you go to bed, but going down to the beach and watching the ocean sweep away the rocks slowly by slowly as
building
these
sandcastles and the sea sweeps it away, and let's build another one, and it just goes away. That's how they're countering each other.
The structures slowly but surely falling on down, and the drag target is there on towards Bad Benny. The damage to slow him on down from Tassadar. They got the kick. They're looking for it, but once again,
very nearly, Fan sets up the kill with the quantum spike into his level 20. Gets stuffed, does the displacement on Diablo, pushes him away from the portal, but his survivability is just slightly too high. So very nearly killing Diablo. And you know what? If Diablo ever goes down once, he will go down twice. He drops from 100 souls back to 0. He loses his bonus regeneration from level 1 Devil's Due. He loses his maximum health pool, and he's just not the warrior that he's meant to be for this team. So that is what Gale Force is gunning for here.
Yeah, I suppose he turns really from a lion back into a cat, and not as scary on the battlefield as you might imagine, but still, No
Especially
kills.
if you stay in the mindset of that lion. That's where you really find out that you're just a little kitty.
What I find really interesting about this series so far is it feels as if both teams are trying to suss one another out, understand how they like to play, where they're at from a standpoint of confidence. You can usually tell how a team is liking to play based on their positioning, their posturing, and their decisiveness to make plays.
And I think Gale Force eSports is earning some stripes here against the second seed from Europe. Here now, big engage by Diablo, lurking arm follow-up, not quite what it needs to be.
Michael
the flank by Michael Udall.
He's coming on in, the APOC is not going to connect, sorry, not the APOC, actually used the bolt right on out of it. The leyline sealer is good, connecting onto Frida, going to go for the combo a little bit late. It's going to hit onto one, no it's not, Face gets out of harm's way. Caffeine is so low, but he does have the invulnerability talent at level 20, so he's not too concerned right now.
And he's very keen not to use it. He wants to save that for a rainy day. Fan doing just the right amounts of pressure, waiting for the next Tassadar shield to keep him alive. Where is it? There we go. Can he get a little bit of life steal? Just a bit. Another keep goes down. Great job by Team Expert.
This keep is going to drop, and the bottom keep is too if they don't start dealing with these web weavers.
Was already down. It's down to one keep here. The final web weaver at the top, pressuring that soon as well. And now there's a posturing around the core. And this is as much a realistic attempt on the core as it is a distraction for the top web weaver. Can Gale Force eSports keep treading water and stay alive here against the inundation from Team Expert?
They've been avoiding kills all day long. Wow, Caffeine once again just playing with them. He's so low. The regen orb comes across. Face is bouncing around, looking to keep him topped up. They are going to have to find some kills soon, though, if they look to try and take down GFE's core.
But Team Expert has destroyed top keep without ever touching it by applying pressure in a different area. Nice macro play there by them, faking on the core. Drag tongue now on Diablo.
Whoa, the flailing swipe was there, but completely negated by the cursed shield. They go in on Diablo, looking for it. The portal once again is there.
But let's see, how many pressure is there on the keep? Not much, actually. There are no catapult build-up. GFE can keep chasing. Diablo, of course, is going to be coming back due to his trade. Can there be any more kills? Gale Force eSports need this.
A lot of tools being expended now by Expert. Sundering is down, Bad Benny is back. The pussycat that he is looking to try and make something happen. The APOC is there. They're looking to flip, and they flip. Tracer cheers Love as she goes out of the fight. She's not going to be able to carry this one now. Face, just before he drops her down, use the Ancestral, but Expert with a very realistic chance now of going for the core.
Finally, the Indestructible gets procced there. Johanna gets destroyed. As much as Diablo has a low health pool, this time his trade worked in one of the best ways that I've ever seen. And they get the turnaround there, get the kill on Fan. Finally, he was so hard to catch, Skimmy, but finally they get him.
They played it patiently all day long. 4 kills to 4. The core is going to drop 27 minutes into this game. They are doing such ridiculous amounts of damage. And on the day, for game number 1, EU take the advantage.
Expert get that first map win against Gale Force eSports. So hard fought, Skimmy.
What a game, what a draft. It seemed so good to start off with for Fen, especially. They had the turn-ins, they had the pressure, I suppose, really, to be aggressive, but they played it far too passive, and that kind of playstyle, I suppose, really pandered to what Expert were trying to achieve.
Expert used that level 20, and you know, I didn't know which level 20 ability was going to be the most impactful, but it actually came down to Medivh's level 20 Medivh cheats. Leyline Seal had been difficult to hit against such a highly mobile team, always just hitting one target. And finally, with the upgraded Leyline, he was able to hit even up to 3 targets. Even though Leyline is staggered and therefore you cannot get the full Apocalypse hit off, the fact that you can just lock down a number of members for a while and finally finding that opportunity to take down Tracer was enough for Expert. They played it so patiently, they played to their strengths, they even saved their keep with just 1% health there at the bottom left. They managed to get a win. But this looks very promising for Gale Force eSports.
The question I'll be asking you right now, Grubby, is this first game, the way it was played, an indication of how the series is going to pan on out?
Potentially. We don't know what the other drafts are going to be looking like. It doesn't mean that they'll always be that patient, but I think we have an actual really good best of 5 on our hands here, Skimmy. Let's see what the analysis desk has to say about this one.
Very rare in Heroes of the Storm do we actually get to see that kind of dynamic with those drafts and those prolonged team fights, attempts to disengage, etc. and things like that. So Kaldor, looking at how that game went, that was actually very intriguing to see the dynamic.
Yeah, it was also pretty close. We saw a 25-minute game or 26 minutes and